For today's lecture, we are going to discuss insect evolution and their relatives. The evolution of insects comes in stages, and it is believed that their first ancestors are most likely the annelids. And for us to better understand, we are going to discuss each stage based on their ancestor and the other relatives. So remember that evolution is driven by natural selection. All organisms need to adapt in order to survive the changing environments. So let's begin with the first ancestor, which is the worm like stage and represented by the phylum Annelida. The phylum Annelida is commonly known as the segmented worms, and the examples includes the leeches, bristleworms, and earthworms. What are the characteristics of this phylum? So they have elongated cylindrical segmented body with a distinct anterior portion, which is this part, and a distinct posterior portion, also called as the periprocte. So the segments or these segments between the anterior portion up to the periprocte are called somites. And these somites are homonymous, meaning they are same or they are similar with each other. For earthworms, they have what they call a clitellum, saddle-like ring, which is found in the epidermis, this part, and usually it is lighter colored compared to the other parts of the body. There are also some annelids with parapodia, such as this bristleworm. And the parapodia are these lateral appendages. So these lateral appendages, these are hollow evaginations or hollow protrusions of the body wall. And these are movable by muscles inserted on or within the bases of this parapodia. The anterior end of the annelida comprise of the mouth, which is the one pointed by the arrow, the prostomium or the preoral lobe, which is this part, pro meaning before the stoma or the mouth. So before the mouth, which is this part, and peristomium, which is the first true segment, peri meaning around, and stoma meaning mouth. So this is this part or this the first true segment where the mouth is located. The next stage is the onychophoran-like stage, and this is represented by the phylum Onychophora. So this stage resembles the annelids, but it has paired appendages. So these are the appendages, and this one. So the phylum Onychophora, or the velvet worms, as mentioned earlier, they are worm-like but with a series of lateroventral appendages, these appendages, which we call as lobopod. So lobopods are simple sac-like walking legs, and usually they come in 13 to 43 pairs, and these are annulated. They have annulated appearance, but they are not jointed or they are not segmented. They are somewhat similar with the parapodia of the annelids because these lobopods are also hollow evaginations of the body and they are movable by four sets of muscles. As you can see here in the figure, the segmentation in velvet worms is not evident. However, the presence of these lobopods make them look like they are segmented. So as shown in the image, the segmentation in velvet worm is not evident, but their body is finely annulated, which make it look like they are segmented or the pseudo segments. So they have a distinct head and posterior end, and they are considered as the primitive arthropod. So the head of the onychophora or the velvet worm comprised of the prostomium, and in that prostomium, they have a pair of tentacle and a pair of simple eye. They also have a mouth. Now we will go to the nearest relatives of the insects, or what we refer to as the arthropod-like stage. And it is further divided into three. But before that, let us first discuss what is an arthropod. So an arthropod, this term comes from the Greek word arthron or arthros, meaning jointed, and poda comes from the word pous or poda, meaning foot or feet. So in general, arthropods are animals with jointed appendages. But there are other characteristics of an arthropod, and we are going to discuss each character in the following slides. Bilaterally symmetrical body. First, let's define what is symmetry. So, symmetry refers to the balance of parts with the opposite side when you divide it from the center or a certain axis. And when we say bilateral symmetry, bi meaning two and lateral meaning sides. So, let's assume this figure, assuming that this diagram is a dorsal view of an insect. If we cut this insect longitudinally or in the middle, the parts in the left should be similar with the parts on the right. Next character is the open circulatory system. The circulatory system is responsible for the movement of nutrients, salts, hormones, and metabolic wastes throughout the body. In mammals, they have a closed circulatory system, meaning the body is contained inside blood vessels and it is circulating in one direction from the heart around the systemic circulatory route, then returning to the heart again. In an open circulatory system, the blood is not enclosed in the blood vessels. It is simply pumped into a cavity called hemocoel, where it surrounds the organ and then returns to the hearts to the ostia. So this is the heart. The ostia is the opening in the heart. So the blood is pumped through this body cavity. Arthropods also have reduced body cavity, or as we mentioned earlier, the hemocoel. These are fluid-filled body cavity. And the fluid inside this hemocoel is called the hemolymph. And based on the definition of the arthropods, they have jointed appendages. Jointed meaning they can bend it due to the presence of joints. And these appendages includes antennae, mouthparts, and legs. They also have chitinous exoskeleton. Exoskeleton is the hard outer covering of the insect. And chitin is a major constituent of that exoskeleton. It is a complex polysaccharide. They also have a segmented body. So their bodies are divided into segments that are often grouped into larger functional units. And the grouping of these segments is referred to as the tagmosis. So tagmosis is the evolutionary process of creating tagma or tagmata or the body regions by fusing the different segments. Lastly, they have body regions or tagma. Tagmata if plural. The phylum Arthropoda is further divided into four subphylum, three of which are extant, while subphylum Trilobita is extinct. As we have mentioned earlier, the third stage of the development of an insect definitive body form is under the phylum Arthropoda, and it is called the trilobite stage. And as I have mentioned, the trilobites or the class Trilobita are extinct group of successful marine arthropods. So the subphylum Trilobita or the trilobites have oval body which is dorso-ventrally flattened, and they have three tagmata: the head, the thorax, and the pygidium. So the head comprised of a carapace, this is the carapace, compound eyes, and a pair of antenna. While the thorax contains the appendages or the paired appendages. The pygidium, so depending on the species, it might contain a single segment or up to 30 segments. These are fused, making the tail rigid. The subphylum Crustacea, or commonly known as the crayfish, lobsters, crabs, and shrimps, have varied stigmata, but usually it has a head and a thorax which is covered with a carapace. So this is the carapace, and they have a distinct abdomen. This is the abdomen. The head appendages composed of a compound eyes in long stalks. As you can see here, the eyes here are quite protruding. They have two pairs of antenna, one pair of mandible, and two pairs of maxilla. They also have a biramous appendage. So when we say biramous appendage, it splits into two main branches from the basal segment. So this is the main branch point and these are the branches. So these are some examples of the animals under the subphylum Crustacea. Next is the subphylum Chelicerata or those with the Chelicera. Let us first discuss the class Cyphosura or the horseshoe crabs or king crabs. In terms of stigmata, this class Cyphosura or the class Chelicerata have two stigmata, which is the prosoma and the opistosoma. Generally, this is the prosoma and the opistosoma. So prosoma is the thorax plus the head or the head plus the thorax or also called the cephalothorax. And the opistosoma is the abdomen. So for class Cyphosura, their prosoma consists of a horseshoe-shaped carapace. And this is the horseshoe carapace. Underneath that is the pair of chelicera, limbs, and the compound and simple eyes. For the opistosoma or the abdomen, it contains a plate-like gill-bearing appendage and this long telson or tail. The class Pycnogonida or the sea spiders also have a prosoma, which is this part, and it contains the elongated proboscis, the chelicerae, and the pedipalps. And it also has 5 pairs of very long legs. However, their opistosoma or the abdomen is incredibly reduced. Next is the class Pentastomida or the tongue worms. Usually, these are parasitic in the nasal and pulmonary cavities of vertebrates. They are 2 to 13 centimeters long and they are covered with cuticle. So there is no distinct stigmata, but there is evident segmentation. Next is the class Tardigrada or the water bears. So the body is covered with chitinized cuticle and it has 4 pairs of unjointed legs with terminal claws. They usually live in moss, lichens, leaf litter, and fresh water. Next is the class Arachnida, which is represented by the spiders, mites, ticks, and scorpions. They have two stigmata, little evident little evidence of external segmentation, and they do not have an antenna. The next group of arthropods is under the subphylum Labiata. The term Labiata is a Latin word for lip, and there are two superclass under this subphylum, the superclass Myriapoda and the superclass Hexapoda. This group differs from the other arthropods by the presence of mandible. So this stage of the insect development is referred to as the myriapod stage, which is the closest relative of the hexapods. And this stage is represented by the superclass Myriapoda. The term myriapod comes from the Greek word myrios, meaning countless, and poda, meaning legs. So they have countless legs or several legs. So the superclass Myriapoda, they have distinct segmentation and paired appendages, and their tagma is comprised of the head and the trunk. The trunk is all the other segments beyond the head. But this group also has a distinct posterior end. So what are the appendages present in this superclass? So they have a pair of antenna, a pair of mandible, and two pairs of maxilla. For the centipedes, they have one pair of leg per segment, while for the millipede, they have two pairs of legs per segment. Lastly, the final stage of the insect definitive body form is the hexapod stage, which is represented by the superclass Hexapoda from the Greek word hex or hexa, meaning six. These arthropods have six legs. Although this figure represents the primitive hexapods. So under the superclass Hexapoda is the class Insecta. And this class is characterized by having distinct segmentation, three tagmata, three pairs of legs, a pair of antenna, and 0 to 2 pairs of wings.